Boys and girls, buenos dias, welcome to a brand new YouTube video. I'm gonna fly through this intro because my camera already looks like it's struggling for battery. So we are doing a full day of eating and I'm gonna show you how I'm eating to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. This is something that I've always believed that can be done, something that I've proven multiple times with my own data. I mean, anecdotally, yes, but I've also done it for clients too. Inspiration for this video came from the great results that I've just been having this year. I think I've spoke about it in the previous video, but like, I'll put the stats on the screen again. Since joining Unit 7 in January, I am up a kilo of lean tissue. I think I'm down, I think it was 8 kilos of body fat, meaning a 7 kilo net loss of weight. I feel like my physique has also changed significantly in that time. I know that especially for guys, losing fat while gaining muscle is a really desirable kind of like thing that a lot of guys want to do. And honestly, in my opinion, it's not actually that complicated. So hopefully you're gonna see a solid example of how exactly I do that today. By the way, the time is now 7:05 AM on Saturday, 6th of September. I've got a game of paddle at 8 in Northwich, so I need to be gone by like 7:20, but that's no problem because I'm going to demolish this in 5 minutes. As you've seen, I've got a tortilla wrap with 100 grams of smoked mackerel and a slice of light cheese. Might sound like a weird combo, but don't knock it till you try it. Small banana, that's only about 70 grams, that one. And then my regular morning shake, which is 200 mils of oat milk. I've actually doubled my dose of creatine to 10 grams rather than 5 grams. I'll explain why a little bit later. And a scoop of Dubai chocolate protein. So this is going to fuel me up. Got some fast fats and sugars from the banana, got plenty of fats from the mackerel, and of course, plenty of protein in the shake. Might not have time to do the calorie breakdown immediately, but if I don't do it now, I'll do it after paddle. You all know the drill at this stage. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, sit back, relax, and let's get into this one. Apologies for the abrupt ending to that last clip. I thought I was very comfortably on time for my paddle game, and then I remembered where the paddle game was. It's like 40 to 45 minutes away, so I quickly ate and got myself down here. But yeah, this morning is a good example of like one of the little frustrations I'm having with paddle, because I'm sure you can probably tell how much I love the sport. I mean, I've gone as far as hiring a coach and making sure that I attribute like plenty of time every single week towards getting better, you know, trying to play games. But the way it works is that you have to play on this app called Playtomic. That's basically the commonly accepted way to play paddle and to play with people who are a similar level to you. So I found this game in Northwich for this morning, and it was with players around a similar level to me. So I hopped in, but the thing is, you never know what you're going to really get when you show up. For example, this morning I was paired with someone who literally told me he's only played paddle 3 times in his entire life, and I'm just like, how are we like ranked similarly on Playtomic? And that's the trouble about using apps like that. That's just how it can go sometimes. One of the opponents in the middle of the first set just pulled his hamstring, so he couldn't play anymore. So that meant obviously they forfeited the game, and the rest of us just kind of like had a hit together. But it's like, I've paid money to play, and I've driven 45 minutes to be here, and that's what I got. You know what I mean? It's just a bit frustrating. But you know, guys, it all comes to that superb life lesson that there's nothing you can't solve with a positive attitude and more money. Right folks, so we are back home. I swung by Aldi to get a few bits, and we are going to experiment with a recipe. As you might have noticed, I don't normally cook on these longer form YouTube videos. I tend to save the recipes for like my shorts and stuff, but I am trying to make a small change to my current kind of eating pattern. Across the day, I typically have probably half a kilo of fruit and veg daily. That's like normal for me at this stage. But I will say that tends to be like 250 to 350 grams of fruit, and then the rest of it made up with veg. And I do want to try and even out the ratio a little bit more and get some more leafy veg, especially in there. So we're going to experiment here. I'm not following a recipe. I've just picked some ingredients that I think are going to go well together. And this is the beauty of cooking. I always say to everyone, like, learning to cook is such like a good skill to have. I think it's a genuine life skill and something that everyone should know, because it does allow you to think about like what kind of changes you want to make to your nutrition, and you can just go to the shop and like kind of just like come up with your own ideas on how to do it. So I'm going to do a recipe here that involves plenty of leafy veg, so let's get into it. So essentially it's going to be a salad made from a base of baby spinach. I'm going to do 60 grams of this, I think. We're going to go in with some sweet vine ripened tomatoes. Going to do 60 grams of this as well. I've got these strawberries that expired today, and I actually think strawberries and spinach go really well together, so I'm going to add 60 grams of those as well. I picked up some of this lighter Greek style salad cheese as a substitute for feta, because feta is super fatty, but this only has 2.9 grams of fat per serving, and it is an Aldi Everyday Essentials product, so honestly my expectations aren't massively high, but we'll see what it's like. And I'm actually going to do a 50 gram serving of this because the calories are so low. And then in terms of dressing, we're going to keep it super simple. We're going to do a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar, and I'm going to do 10 grams of honey as well. Let's make this and see how it turns out. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I have high hopes for this. This looks and smells fantastic. I went really easy on the salt because feta tends to be quite salty and I don't know what this is going to be like, so I just figured I'd add less. If it needs more, I can just add more, but I did put plenty of black pepper in there because I think that will also complement all of this. Let's go ahead and give this a try. I'm like salivating. Guys, I'm a genius. That is absolutely phenomenal. That is so unbelievably good. That really didn't take long. So another reason I want to get something like that into my daily routine is because I find at the end of the day, I'm always quite behind on calories, and it's pretty much always from carbs and fat. So I can get some fats in from the olive oil by doing that. And it's definitely not a carby salad. I mean, the most carby thing in there is the honey. But as a total volume of fruit and veg, it does get me a few extra carbs. That whole salad is only 281 calories as well. Absolute winner. I'm gonna start pairing that with my regular lunches, because my regular lunch tends to be my smallest meal of the day. So I think it'd be nice for me to have something like that alongside it. So where this leaves us for the day so far, by the way, my target is 2,600 calories, aiming for around 180, 190 grams of protein. So between breakfast and that salad, I've eaten 1,032 calories today, 74 protein, 82 carb, and 44 fat. So definitely eating a lot more fat than I would normally at this time of day. And I don't really mind because I know the rest of the day's meals are going to be very low in fat. Plus it's going to keep me going for the day anyways. Right, it's time for me to get this kitchen clean and then I'll catch up with you after. Right, literally not even an hour has passed since I had that salad and I'm already starving again, so I've just done myself a quick chicken and rice meal. It's a bit earlier, it's only 12:40. It's definitely earlier than I would normally have lunch, but then again, I didn't really eat properly after paddle. And even though paddle wasn't exactly the most taxing of games this morning, it's obvious that I used some fuel during that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this down me now because I know I definitely need it. This is gonna be my last meal until later on. I actually did find another game of paddle over on the Whirl. That starts at 7, so I'll probably leave around like 6:15. And it's also a 2-hour game. I've never played a full 2-hour game before. So tonight's gonna be a real test for my fitness, playing my first 2-hour game, but I'm actually really looking forward to it. So this will be my last main meal before that, although just before I leave for paddle I'm probably gonna have half an avocado and some fruit just to fuel myself for that whole session. In fact, I may as well just tell you now, like with this meal and the additional fruit, which by the way is gonna be half an avocado, a flat nectarine, and then 60 grams of strawberries, that brings today's total so far to 1,674 calories, 123 grams of protein, 143 grams of carbs, and 67 grams of fat. So ideally after paddle, I want to get around another 60 grams of protein, probably around 100 grams of carbs, and just minimize fat as much as I can. And I already know how I'm going to do that, so I'll show you after. Anyways, that's enough waffle, so I'm going to get this down me and I'll catch up with you after. Alright guys, you're just gonna have to ignore the sound of the washing machine behind me. Time's now 1 PM and I'm kind of debating go for a quick nap because obviously it's gonna be a late night tonight. But at the same time I'm thinking, do I just not nap and maybe just sleep in a little bit later tomorrow? Because to be honest, I've got no real reason to be up. Might end up just chilling watching YouTube for a while because I'm probably not gonna do much of that before I go to sleep tonight. But I did just want to take this opportunity to talk a bit more about like the whole act of losing fat while gaining muscle. As I said earlier, I think it's very possible, although I don't think that should be the priority for some people as well. I think if you clearly have some fat to lose, I would definitely prioritize fat loss first, because the leaner you are as a starting point, the easier it actually is to gain muscle. So if you obviously have fat to lose, prioritize that first. But if you don't have a lot of fat to lose, that's when I would probably be saying, yeah, probably go into something that is geared towards fat loss and muscle gain. And if you're serious about it, I would be looking at tracking your macros, tracking your weight, doing progress photos, etc, etc. If you have access to some kind of scanner, like an in-body scanner, or maybe a lot of home scales would do that kind of thing now, that's always useful just so you've got that data, because that data is ultimately going to be the key in helping you ascertain if you are actually losing fat while gaining muscle. Because if you're in too heavy of a deficit, you're going to start to lose muscle as well, and if you're not in enough of a deficit, you might not be losing fat in the process. So there's a fine balance to be achieved here, so you need to make sure that your calories are within that kind of sweet spot that is allowing you to, you know, gain muscle tissue and lose fat. Now, for your principles that I would say to stick to, you definitely make sure you got high protein. I would say you want a gram of protein per pound of body weight. My weight in pounds at the moment is hovering around the 187, 188 mark, so that's what I'm aiming for. The rest of it can be made up with carbs and fats pretty much as and how you want them to be. But also pay attention to how your body feels. Some people just naturally respond better to fats over carbs and vice versa. I'd also say you need to be weight training 3 times a week, and those weight training sessions should include some strength building programming. I'm talking 2 to 3 working sets of 6 to 8 reps, aiming for a baseline of 8 out of 10 effort. So it's got to be intense, it's got to be heavy, it's got to push you, because if you are going to achieve muscle gain while in a calorie deficit, you've really got to stimulate the muscles. Depending on how you respond to cardio, or be having on cardio in there as well, but it doesn't have to be running, it doesn't have to be incline walking. Again, it can be pretty much what you want it to be. For me, I play paddle a minimum of once a week. My aim is to play 3 times a week, and to be honest, that's all the cardio I need. And a big old dose of consistency. You need to maintain this for a good period of time. You can't just expect to do this for 4 to 6 weeks and see crazy results. Because you're not prioritizing one over the other, you're trying to both lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. Your progress in those areas is going to be slower than if you were prioritizing fat loss or prioritizing muscle gain, if that makes sense. You can expect to see more small incremental changes over time. It's the one thing that no one wants to hear, but everybody needs to understand. But if you are patient with it, once again, I'm going to put my stats on the screen from what I've achieved this year at Unit 7. If you are patient with it, it will reward you. And this is also, in my opinion, a way better way to achieve long-term behavioral change, making it changes that are actually ingrained into your lifestyle, rather than going through a fat loss phase and then not being in a fat loss phase, or going through a muscle build phase and then not being in a muscle build phase. The way I've done this now, it's very sustainable for me. I don't have any trouble with it whatsoever. So as long as I'm getting the results, I'm happy to do it. And the only time I'll look to change it is if I stop getting the results, plain and simple. So that is just my take on how to lose fat while gaining muscle. Hopefully you found it useful, but if you do have any questions about it whatsoever, just go ahead and leave them in the comments below and I'll make sure that I address them. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and chill out for a bit before leaving for the paddle marathon. One thing I've definitely noticed about this car, maybe it's got something to do with the amount of motorway miles that I do. I've had the car since January. That's the second time I've refilled the screen washer fluid, which I feel like is quite often. Maybe it's got a really small tank, maybe it's just really thirsty. Maybe I'm just spamming the windscreen washer too much. But you all know how much I care about keeping my car clean, so I think it's really important to do these things and keep on top of it. I just use the normal Halfords ready-to-use screen wash, which is unscented. But then I mix in this Rain-X additive, because this stuff is really good for just like, the best way for me to describe it is that it makes your wipers work less to get rid of the water. Like, it just makes the water just like roll off the windscreen really easily. It's almost like a water repellent. And on the topic of the car, there's something I actually haven't told you yet. So obviously this video is going to go up on Sunday as normal, Sunday 7th. Sunday 14th, I'm actually going to Scotland to start the North Coast 500. This is something I've had booked for months, and the North Coast 500 has been on my bucket list for a very long time. I've heard so many amazing reviews from my friends who have been there, and doing my own research on the road trip as well just gets me so excited to finally do it myself. So next week's video is actually going to be my introduction to that road trip. I actually haven't quite decided yet. I might just do a normal video next week, then do the road trip, and then give the road trip its own video. I really wanted to toy with the idea of doing like daily videos on that road trip, but I think I'm just going to do daily carousels on Instagram of each day, and then for the long form YouTube video, just really go all out to try and make it as cool as possible. Obviously, earlier this year, I got this car that I've really wanted for a very long time, and I really have been enjoying the living daylight side of it. And I just want to make sure that I tick off some of the road trips that I want to do while I've got that thing. And what better way to start than with the North Coast 500? I am so excited. So I really hope you are too, because I think it's going to make some great content. Just watching the F1, I'm about to go edit some photos from this week very shortly. I was going to eat at around like 5:30, but I'm not going to lie, that feels like a long time to wait. I'm quite hungry now. But we're sticking to the plan. I've already set out today's meals and planned them in a way that fits, so it's really important that I stick to it. Now, like a lot of people, I love avocado. I love avocado on toast. I love guacamole. I love avocado and eggs. But sometimes you can't beat just having half an avocado with a little bit of salt and pepper and just nailing it down with a spoon. Honestly, you just cannot. I mean, guys, just look how good that looks. Just look how good. It's just unbelievable. By the way, also, because it's still only 5:07 and I'm absolutely starving, I'm just going ahead and eating now. And I've also added 75 grams of blueberries. I know, pushing the boat out massively here, but because I'm so hungry, I feel like I just need a bit of extra food. I'm just gonna listen to my body. Honestly, I could have had that same plate 5 times over. Still got about an hour before I gotta leave for paddle, so I'm just gonna go ahead and chill out a bit more. But an update on the calories since we added those blueberries. That takes us to 1,725 calories, 124 grams of protein, 154 grams of carbs, and 67 grams of fat. Still leaves us with 875 calories for tonight, but I'm thinking I might just let myself have up to 1,000 if I want to. Because I did already play 1 hour of paddle this morning, and then this evening I've got another 2-hour game. So in 3 hours of paddle total, I'm gonna have burned off a lot, and my body's gonna be really wanting some calories. So that is where we are, and I'll catch up with you when it's paddle time. Alright guys, so the time is now 10:16 in the evening. I've just finished the most mammoth game of paddle, but I mean, to be fair, I was kind of on the fence about going because it was 2 hours long. but I'm really glad I did. I mean, I feel like that's the thing about exercise. Once you go, you just never really regret it, do you? But like, you know, very much glad that I did, but I'm starving and I should have been in bed like half an hour ago, but you know what, it is what it is. And of course I do need to eat, so here's how the final meal of the day is looking. So on the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, I do normally treat myself to something like a Subway, a foot-long double turkey, because I just really like that. But if you're from Liverpool, you might be familiar with Mamo's on Rose Lane. It's like a grilled chicken place, and lately I've been absolutely loving their grilled chicken strips with rice and salad. So that is exactly what I've got myself tonight. I'm going to open up these packages so you can see. This is the salad. It's actually a really nicely made salad with like jalapenos, and it's dressed and everything. This is the grilled chicken strips. They are chicken mini fillets, just like plain grilled, and I got them with some like mango lime sauce. I would normally get some spice, but I figured that because it's so late, I don't really want to deal with spice. And then a nice container of peri-peri rice. I have actually tracked this. I've tracked this as like a full bag of like microwave rice. I've tracked this as like 250 grams of chicken mini fillets. The salad I'm not going to track because, I mean, it's salad. So after my guesstimated tracking, that leaves us at 2,536 calories, 222 grams of protein, 227 grams of carbs, and 80 grams of fat. So we've still come in under calories. That's assuming my estimations are correct, which I'm sure they're kind of thereabouts. Probably would have liked to have a few more carb in there, especially after all that exercise, but you know, it's completely fine. By the way, I'm going to put my stats for paddle on the screen right there as well. Like that's, I mean, 2 hours of paddle. I mean, it was pretty tough work. But yeah, as I say, it's super late and I need to eat this and get myself to bed, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video right here. Hopefully it's given you a good idea of how like nutritionally I kind of tailor myself towards like gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time. But as I say, if you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. I'm extremely grateful that you chose to spend a few minutes with me when you could have been doing literally anything else. Stay tuned for the next videos because we have got the Scottish road trip coming up. It's going to be a good time and you come along with me for every single step of the way. I'm excited, hope you are as well. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Have an amazing week ahead and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.